Today we are in Deal for the final BHPC event of the 2023 season. Slash in the Bino Streamliner has pretty much already won the championship. Here is Andrew Sidwell on his rat racer. He is currently too far behind in the championship to get anything, but he is always fast on that track. Derek Tweedle in his yellow Donkey Streamliner could also be fast today. As usual, there are two sets of 30 minutes plus 1 lap races. It starts with the slow race. Jeff Bird in the Vulcan Velomobile has a stronger start. The first part of the track is a slight uphill, so it is probably the hardest, especially for people that have the heaviest bikes. After the first lap, Jeff Bird in the Vulcan Velomobile is leading. He is followed by Andy Foray in his fully faired King Cycle. Peter Hutchen on his prototype trike is third. The gaps between riders are already huge after 1 lap. Martin Kiesel here on his windshield trike is 30 seconds behind the leader. The race will last around 35 minutes, so there is plenty of time to catch up. Sheriff Harding is leading the Uncycles classification today. Mark Howard on his Uncycle is trying to catch up with him. The kick scooter with big wheels is not going to win any prize in terms of efficiency or aerodynamic, but it is still fun. Andy Foray in his fully faired King Cycle has taken the lead. Jeff Bird in his Vulcan Velomobile is in second place. Richard Ford in his Velo car is in third place. Alexander Bray and Jeff Bray in their Velo cars are not far behind. Andy Foray is dominating that race as he is 10% faster than everybody else. This is the sharpest turn of the track, but it is a rather fast turn, much less challenging than the turns in the previous video in Gravesend, although the track surface is not as nice. Jeff Bird in the Vulcan Velomobile is consolidating the second place. Sheriff Harding is still leading the Uncycles classification. He is ahead of Mark Howard on his Uncycle. The Bray siblings have caught up with Richard Ford for an all-velo car battle. The kick scooter rider here, Dave Goodman, is actually getting into the corner in an aerodynamic position, but that's nothing compared with Andy Foray in his fully faired King Cycle. It will be interesting to know what speed gain Andy Foray is getting using his full fairing. It is a soft fairing, so it can't be compared with something like the Bino Streamliner. Melvin Friend here is riding the same King Cycle but with a tail box. We always hear that tail boxes can improve aerodynamic a lot, but I don't think it is always true, as it depends on the shape and size of the tail box. The recumbent world tend to exaggerate aerodynamic benefits of recumbent bikes and fairings in some cases. Andy Foray in his fully faired King Cycle is dominating the race. Jeff Bird in his Vulcan Velomobile is still in second place. He is lapping people. The Vulcan Velomobile is probably the most aerodynamic bike in that race. It is outstanding that it is a homemade Velomobile. The Velo cars are still battling for the third place. It looks like one of the Velo cars has been dropped. This is the last lap. Jeff Burt in his Vulcan Velomobile is comfortably in second place. Dave Goodman on his kick scooter is in last place. Alexander Bray and Richard Ford in their velocars are going to have to sprint for the third place. Andy Foray in his fully faired King Cycle has won the race. Jeff Bray here in his velocar is in 5th place. Stephen Excel on his upright bike is in 6th place. Sammy Lambert on their upright bike is in 11th place. The classification is obviously not the same as the finish order, as people have been lapped. Now is the time for the fast race. I wish that could be the real start, but that's not the start yet, as we have the time to do one practice lap. That's the real start. The streamliners somehow have the best start, but I am right behind. The start is not the fastest part of the circuit, so it is easier to match the streamliner speed here. I'm trying to stay with them as long as possible to gain time over Joren Farver on his M5 low racer. The riders behind me are now out of sight. Finally, Erin Parsons in her Milan SL Velomobile is overtaking me to take the 4th place. Slash in the Beano Streamliner is already lapping me, and Derek Twiddle in the Yellow Donkey Streamliner is catching up with me, and he is overtaking me to take the 5th place. He's actually catching up with Erin Parsons in her Milan SL Velomobile, but he will not get ahead of her. I'm lapping Dave Minter on his tricycle. Here I'm lapping Judy Swallow on her ice trice. Liam Goodman in the White Nosso Streamliner and Russell Bridge in the Snoopy Streamliner are battling for the 2nd place. I am lapping Nigel Lee on his Fujin Low Racer. Joren Farber on his M5 Low Racer is now catching up with me. Can't take the trophy away from me this year, as I have too many championship points, but he can still beat me in this race. The Streamliners are lapping us yet another time. Liam Goodman in the Nosso Streamliner seems to have taken the 2nd place, as Russell Bridge in the Snoopy Streamliner has been dropped. We are lapping John Lucian on his Pelso Brevet, Dan Bergonzi on his Raptor Bike Low Racer, and Jerry Charlwood on his Rat Racer. We are lapping Gemma Foray in a fully faired Festina bike. Here we are lapping Eng Yong-ong on his Performer X-Low Low Racer and Tim McDonald in his Milan SL Velomobile. Here we are lapping Dave Minter on his tricycle. Here we are lapping Kim Wall on her Optima Baron Low Racer. I am finally launching an attack. Even when I'm attacking, I'm still getting lapped by the white nozzle streamliner. Russell Bridge in his Snoopy streamliner is lapping me as well, even though I am still attacking. In the end, I get ahead of Joren to take the maximum points for the unfaired and partially faired classification. Now is the time for the second slower race. After the first lap, Kim Wall on her Optima Baron Low Racer is leading the race. Andy Foray in his fully faired King Cycle is in second place. Richard Ford in his Velocar is ahead of Alexander Bray, who is in a Velocar as well. Dave Goodman is still riding his kick scooter with big wheels. Mark Howard is ahead of Sheriff Harding for the Uncycles classification. Kim Wall on her Optima Baron Low Racer is leading the race, a few seconds ahead of Andy Foray in his fully faired King Cycle. Sheriff Harding and Mark Howard are battling for the Uncycles classification. Mervyn Friends on his King Cycle, Sammy Lambert on her upright bike, and Mark Henley on his Speedrus recumbent are battling for the 7th place. Andy Foray in his fully faired King Cycles has nearly caught up with Kim Wall on her Optima Baron Low Racer. Andy Foray does not seem to be able to close the gap. Mark Henley on his Speedrus recumbent is getting away from Mervyn Friend and Sammy Lambert. Here, this looks like a molten bike. Kim Wall on her Optima Baron Low Racer has lapped the Velocars. Andy Foray in his fully faired King Cycle is still not far behind. Jeff Bray in his Velocar is a few seconds behind the other two Velocars ahead. Dave Goodman on his kick scooter is in last place. The race for the Uncycles classification is very tight. Kim Wall on her Optima Baron low racer is slowly increasing her lead over Andy Foray in his fully faired bike. Cliff Bolton. His velocar is about to get lapped by the leading velocars. Kim Wall on her Optima Baron low racer seems bound to win, as she has a lead of around 20 seconds. Andy Foray would have to do 2 or 3 laps at his best lap speed to have a chance. The fastest velocars are back together again. Mark Howard is leading for the N-Cycles classification. It looks like Sheriff Harding on his own cycle is on the attack. Mark Howard seems to have been dropped. That's yet another competitive finish for the velocars. Kim Wall on her Optima Baron low racer has won the race. Sheriff Harding seems to have won the N-Cycles classification. Alexander Bray has beaten the other velocars. Now is the time for the final race of the season. I am starting in the middle of the field. And I am having trouble clipping into the pedals. That's not a fantastic start, but Johan Farver on his M5 low racer has not managed to get away. I have John Lucian on his Pelso Brevet on my wheel. Erin Parson in a Milan SL Velomobile is already overtaking us. And Slash in the Bino Streamliner is already lapping us. Russell Bridge in his Snoopy Streamliner is lapping us as well. We are lapping En Yong Hong on his Performer X Low, and John Lucian on his Pelso Brevet. We are lapping Tim McDonald in his Milan SL Velomobile. We are lapping Jerry Charlwood on his Rat Racer. Russell Bridge in his Snoopy Streamliner and Liam Goodman in the Not So Streamliner are battling for the second place. Around 2 laps before the end, I am launching an attack. The problem is we can never know the exact number of remaining laps, as it depends on where the leader is. But the attack is successful. and I am getting the 6th place. As usual, Slash in the Beano Streamliner wins the race and the overall championship. Graham Goodman in the Not So Streamliner is second of the race and third of the championship. Russell Bridge in the Snoopy Streamliner is third of the race and second of the championship. This is the end of another great season. Very big thanks to everybody that organized all the races and set up the state-of-the-art scoring and timing systems, and do all kind of things in the background. And also a big thanks to all the other competitors.